My name is Gerald Patrick Darst. I was born and raised in Issaquah, and I reside in Renton, Washington for the last 40 years. I was called into the service in 1950, and I stayed 2 years. I was drafted. Well, I was in the United States Army and Signal Corps, and I went in as a private, come out as a corporal, and I served at the 10th Corps in Korea on a 4-point zone. The Army to me meant very much that when I was a young person and got out of school, the Second World War was just over with, and we were very patriotic at that time. The people were very patriotic, and so the Army meant very much to me. And when I went into the service, I tried to make it the best I could. I served for 2 years, like I said before, in Korea, and I come out as a corporal. And as I served in Korea, at a 4-point zone, I've seen a lot of things, and a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. And to sum it up, that I wouldn't take $1 million for everything I've seen or did, but I wouldn't give a plugged nickel to do it over again. When I come home from the service, I come home on a hardship leave. My mother had had a stroke, and I had 1 month to serve before I was rotated home. So I come home a month early, and when I come back from Korea from my family, naturally I was received very, very well. The only bad thing that happened to me is when I was in the service, the job that I had up at Warehouser, that somebody quit or that, and so my job, it went up so I would get a promotion. And when I first come back from the service, I should have got into that promotion, but they didn't give it to me, and I had to fight for that because I was in the service, you know. But they finally gave it to me. And the bad thing that I went down to a loan to buy a car, and I was refused because I was still in active duty, because I was in the Army, and I didn't like that very well. But for the general part of it, the people, my friends and all that, I was treated very, very well. The Second World War was a war, and the Korean, people don't realize that the Korean was a conflict. It wasn't a war. But anytime they shoot at one another, I call that a war, you know? And they didn't treat the Korean vets like they did the Second World War vets, because it was always just a kind of a different way of fighting, you know. When you're in the Second World War, you're there for the duration. And Korea, you're only over there for 2 years. But we had the draft, and we didn't have people running to Canada and stuff like that. We didn't have slackers. I think it went very well, I really do. For the ones that I have talked to that is, I come home, and that's very few of them, we do have a few here that belong to Veterans of Foreign Wars, post 1263. And I've talked to them, and I think they're treated fairly well. I don't think they're, I think people know what they're going through. Of course, it's a different situation too, because this was 9/11 when, you know, it all started then, and it wasn't like just a conflict. It's a regular war, you know. And of course, the service is a lot different now than when I was in it. When I was in it, was more or less like an old book. Like I said before, the sergeant would speak with teeth out, mouth out like that, with big long teeth, and when he says jump, you said how high, you know. And I don't think it's so much that way now. And I think myself, I think they're doing just fine.